In 2003, the U.S. and Mexican bishops came together to draft a pastoral letter called Strangers No Longer. This letter distills the Catholic social teaching on immigration into 5 easy-to-understand principles. Here to help us understand these principles is the Most Reverend Salvatore Cordileone, Archbishop of San Francisco.
The first principle means exactly what it says, that people have a right to find opportunity in their homeland. They should be able to make a living, provide for their families where they live, where they're from. Migration is a right when it's needed, but people should not have to resort to that in order to just survive. Most people don't want to immigrate. Most people have a love for the land where they come from, so they have a right to be able to have decent work, to be able to provide decently for their families. It sometimes happens that people do not have the opportunities they need in order to make a decent living and provide for their families. In these cases, they have a right to migrate, to find that opportunity in other countries. Other countries have the corresponding responsibility then to receive those who are immigrating for just reasons and have the capacity and then the potential to contribute to the society to which they are immigrating. For us in the United States, it's simple because we're all descended from immigrants. Indigenous Americans are the only ones who did not immigrate, right? The vast majority of us have descended from immigrants. They came here because this was a land of promise, a land of opportunity, and they were committed to working hard and using their talents to provide for their families and contribute to the good of our society. The right of sovereign nations to control their borders is a right for nations to provide for the security of their people and to protect their people. It is not only human beings who cross borders, but sometimes human beings bring things with them that can harm the society, whether that's drug trafficking, whether that's weapons, whether that's trafficking other human beings. So certainly nations have the right, indeed the need and responsibility to control their borders for the purposes of protecting their people, providing for their security and their general welfare. Many people are fleeing situations of violence where their lives are at risk. These are refugees and asylum seekers. They have a right as well to be received in a country where they can find protection and be safe from the harm that threatens them in their homeland. These people should not be returned to certain death where they come from. Again, people generally do not want to leave their homelands. It's only because of an extreme hardship. I was an auxiliary bishop in the Diocese of San Diego. I had served in the Imperial Valley, which is in the southeastern corner of California, right on the border there. I was asked to go there to celebrate a Mass at a cemetery in the desert not far from the border of 200 unmarked graves. There were people who were found dead in the desert. They were in such desperation trying to cross to find an opportunity to provide for their families. We have sort of theoretical, academic discussions about undocumented immigrants, but a situation like that, the reality of it hits home and hits very hard. Certainly, the situation of lack of documentation of immigrants coming here is one that has to be addressed, but in a humane way. Another thing I would urge all people to do, not just our Catholic people, is to put a face on the immigration question. That can really provide a different perspective on the whole question. Get to know the face of immigration and humanize it. While we still have certain values we retain, understanding the perspective of others and seeing the issue from their point of view helps us to come to some consensus.